Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Greetings, Starfleet. This is Vice Admiral Ryan Case, Region Coordinator of Region 2. We hope that you enjoy this next item from Virtual IC 2022. Onward and upward.
Hello and welcome to this VIC interview with Sarah Booth. Sarah Booth is a Canadian-born, classically trained actor, stunt performer, and producer. She is a regular on the upcoming series Three Pines with Amazon Prime from the producers of The Crown, and appeared as guest star on Law & Order SVU, Star Trek Discovery, and Heartland. Sarah also starred in the new split-screen drama Last Call, which was directed by Gavin Michael Booth. Sarah trained in Montreal and continues to work on stage, including her critically acclaimed performance as Una in Blackbird. In 2008, Miss Booth was the recipient of ACTRA's inaugural Breakthrough Artist of the Year award. Most recently, and the reason we're here today, Sarah joined the cast of Star Trek Discovery as the character Luda. Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you so much.
So welcome. I'm so pleased to have you here. It's my supreme pleasure to have you here, actually, because we're sitting in a high school in Ormstown, Quebec, rural Quebec, and it's special because this is where Sarah began her career.
That's very true. Right in this spot.
Yeah, pretty much, eh? So I already know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. When and where did you first catch the acting bug?
Well, it was, like I said, right here on this stage. I grew up in Ormstown, and it's a very, very rural town. So in, your extracurricular, I can't say that word, curricular, thank you, activities, you either played hockey or did ballet. So I grew up dancing, and I knew I liked being on stage, but I never knew that acting was an option for me in life. And then once the arts program started here at CVR, which you and Miss Bai started, thank you.
You're welcome.
For changing my life.
You're very welcome.
I got cast in the musical Fame, and once I had the entire auditorium applauding, I was hooked. And I decided to look into post-secondary education, and they had a great theater program right here in Montreal. So that's what I did. I did 3 years of theater, and then the rest is history, right?
Yeah, so awesome. And so you've acted, you've done stunt work. I have to close my eyes when you do your stunt work because I just can't watch it. It just scares me. Anyway, you've done voice work in the Far Cry video games, in case you're wondering who that voice is. But what is your favorite thing to do, and why?
Well, I think out of those three options, my favorite is definitely acting. But I really, really enjoy taking on roles that have a physical aspect to it, so that's why I really enjoy doing stunts. I try to do all my own stunts when productions let me and insurance companies let me. So when I did Heartland, I got to do all my own horseback riding. When I did Law & Order, I got to do all my own fights. They always have a double for me, but I try to push to do my own stuff. So I would have to say acting with the physical aspect is definitely my favorite.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So is there I know you do stunt sequences, and I know you do some of when you're acting yourself, you do them, but do you do like sequences that viewers would recognize where perhaps you set it up for somebody else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so when I was in Los Angeles for 7 years, it's a tough city to get buy-in, so I had multiple jobs, and one of my jobs was at Universal Studios Hollywood, was doing the Waterworld live stunt show, which was such a blast.
Was it fun to do?
Oh my gosh! My job is literally like running around an adult jungle gym with fire and boats. It was so much fun.
Okay, fine. I wouldn't want to watch that either.
No, my mom came and watched it, and she closed her eyes half the time. Yes, because we are not, it's safe, but not 100% safe. So when I started doing that job in Los Angeles, our bosses are, all in the industry, so they would call us for certain, projects that they were working on. And one of my favorite ones that I did was 911, the TV show. There was like a huge plane crash scene, and we got to, because we work in the water all the time, they wanted stunt performers that, can handle cold water. And yeah, so, if you watch that episode, you'll probably see me, screaming for my life in the water after a giant plane crash.
Wow,
Yeah.
incredible. So you did the voice work for the video Far Cry.
Yeah.
In case you're wondering, she voices the character of Tammy.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's lovely.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, tell me about the experience of like filming that, creating that whole thing.
Yeah. So usually video games, sometimes they'll have an actor that does the motion capture and an actor that does the voice. I was lucky I got to do both. So I got to, act out the scenes as my character in this big volume, and you're wearing the suit with the sensors on it. So just that aspect of doing the job was so much fun. You get to use your imagination, because really there's, a door will just be kind of like a little wooden frame, and everything's just, you really get to use your imagination in those cases. So we shot, the physical part of it. We had also facial cams on while we were doing it so they could track our faces. And then a few months later, once they actually get, the graphics, and I probably am explaining this wrong, but once you can see your character on screen, then they call you in and you do all the voice work for it. So yeah, it was fun. It was actually about a year of work, off and on.
That's why I was wondering, how long does that
Yeah.
whole process take?
Yeah, I think from booking the job to the game coming out, it was 2.5 years.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a long process.
So much work.
Yeah, for them, oh my gosh. I was just like a grain of sand in the game,
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine when you look at it, what you did, but all the other facets that go into making that game.
It's wild.
Amazing.
All the worlds, all the characters. Yeah, it was a lot of fun to do that. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. And so in looking at your catalog, it occurs to me that you've never shied away from embracing roles that are larger than life.
Yes.
You're never like this small shrinking violet in the scene. Never.
Never.
And they're usually vulnerable in nature. And is that something that you look for when you're picking a script, or does it just happen?
I think it just happens.
Okay.
When I first started acting in theater school, I would always get, the funny bit parts that come on for 1 or 2 scenes, make a bang, and then I'm gone. And I was kind of disappointed in theater school. I was like, I want to play the lead. I'm not good enough, So then I got into the real world, and I discovered that those roles are so fun to do. They're so fun. Leads of shows, you kind of have to play it a little bit more straight, and I get to come in and give these either really dramatic scenes or play characters that are very complex psychologically.
Yeah.
And for me, when I get those auditions, it's easy to go there for me. I don't know why. My mom sometimes asks me, "Are you okay?"
Why'd you pick that?
Yeah, she's like, "Was your childhood okay? Are you telling me everything?" Yeah, no, it's just easy for me to go there, and it's fun for me to go there.
And it makes it more satisfying
Oh,
for you
yeah.
as an actor.
Oh, yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah.
So you've been in business for quite a while, and
Yeah.
you've worked with all kinds of incredible stars along the way.
Yes.
Do you still get starstruck, or is it just business?
Oh my gosh, I get starstruck all the time. But it's usually, if I know I'm going to work with a certain actor, I'll be nervous to meet them. But then as soon as you meet them, you're like, oh my gosh, everyone's just a human.
Yeah.
But I think it's just that initial contact to be like, hello. And then once that's over and you just start talking about, life and your career and whatever you talk about, you just realize that you're two people that just love doing what you're doing, I recently just worked with Alfred Molina. Oh man, I was really nervous to meet him, but within 2 seconds, I was just like, oh my gosh, he's just so warm and nice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Do you I remember when you did Law & Order.
Yes.
You talked about that experience. You want to just talk a little bit about that?
Of course, yeah. So Law & Order, I grew up watching Law & Order. Just for me getting the audition, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm auditioning for this show. I sent my audition in, and then I got a call saying they're interested. And I, like, the entire process after that was just like, pinch me every day. But meeting Mariska Hargitay was a big goal of mine, and she was just fantastic. She definitely like runs that show. She is a boss, but she is so generous, and just took me aside and she was like, look, we do the same stuff every week. We solve a crime. She's like, our show is about the guest stars. So whatever you need, I'm here for you. And it just gives you the freedom on set to try things and not be afraid, and in the end, give a better performance.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So you starred in several projects where your husband, the very talented Gavin Michael Booth, he's actually there. You can't see him. He's off camera.
He's here.
Yes. Was the director. And I was wondering, I mean, he's standing there, but I'm going to ask you, what's it like working with your spouse?
Okay, well, because he's in the room,
Okay.
I have a different answer.
All right.
No, I'm joking. Working with my husband is amazing. We just, I think we get along better when we work together, because we both have a goal, and you know, we're artists. We need something. But it's so fun because we know each other obviously very well, and the communication is easy, and the direction is easy. And you know, sometimes when you start a project, there's, you know, that few days or weeks of making sure, you know, you're all on the same page, and the ideas that come out, it might be a terrible idea, but you're not going to feel shy about pitching it out there. But with Gavin, you know, it's like obviously from day one, we just have a really, really great way of collaborating and communicating and creating some really fun work. It's my most favorite roles are the roles that I've done for our projects.
Okay. Like, I watched Last Call, 2019, if you're looking for it.
Yeah.
And all I could think of was, oh my goodness, this must have taken such an emotional toll on you and the other actor, like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, what was that like? Just that whole experience of doing that movie.
Yeah, well, it was, originally I wasn't cast in the movie. We had another actress, and then our, the Last Call, the shooting of it got delayed, and she wasn't able to do it. So Gavin was like, well, my favorite actor is my wife. He's biased. And he said, let's put Sarah in it. And I was kind of waiting on the sidelines, ready to go, because I knew there was going to be some scheduling issues. And then we just like jumped into it. We rehearsed the movie for 10 days. Wow. Yeah, because it's 2 single takes simultaneous. So we rehearsed his side first in the morning, and then we would go rehearse my side in the afternoon. And then once we kind of had it all planned out, we separated the crew and started rehearsing as if, you know, we were really doing it. So we did it for 10 days, realized that some of the script wasn't working. We knew we couldn't go back and edit because it's a 1-take film, no hidden cuts. And so we reworked the script for a few days and then started shooting, and we would shoot twice a night. And that was the hardest part, I think. I think the rehearsal part of it was super fun. Even though it was dark material, you know, there was like an exploration. We had to figure things out. We had to problem solve. But when we were actually shooting, it's like this is it. We gotta hit these moments. We gotta drive this story forward, and we can't edit. So it was definitely the funnest part, but the scariest.
It's scary because, like, what happens if it goes off the rails?
Yeah, and it did a couple, I think just once. We had a false start 15 minutes into it, so we reset and started again, and I think that was our best. I think that was the movie, the take that we ended up using. But the sound, our sound operator, he's like, we were double laved. There was no boom mic, and he said that he could hear my heartbeat so loud for the first 15 minutes, and then he said it would calm down.
It's amazing. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So can I ask, you've done network television, but what do you enjoy specifically about independent filmmaking?
Oh, independent filmmaking is my favorite. You don't get the trailers, you don't get the fancy stuff, but you get to really work and act sometimes I'll get a guest star and I show up on set. It's 1 or 2 days, you do your job and you leave. You don't try to take up too much space. But with our projects I can take up a lot of space, which is fun. Yeah, and you get into it. And like I said, me and Gavin, like most of my independent projects have been with Gavin, so I really get to get involved, and I really like that part.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you've done, I asked you before about like whether acting, filming, but my question now is, you've done stage projects.
Yeah.
You've done television.
Yeah.
You've done film. What's your favorite?
If I had to pick one, I would pick television.
Yes. Eh?
Yeah, because I find movies move quite slow. So the days can be long, and sometimes you'll show up and they'll be like, oh, we can't get to your scene today. There's a lot of waiting, and they tend to be the biggest budget. So there's just a lot of stuff happening. I love theater. I love rehearsing theater. It's probably my favorite because you just get to try so many things and just really explore the work. But I kind of like right in between because television moves quickly. You're going to shoot your scene that day because they're on a tight schedule. So it moves rather like quicker than film, but I like it. You rehearse, you shoot, you move on. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So you spent some time behind the camera and behind the scenes as well. So how does that compare with work in front of the camera?
Behind the camera is way harder. Yes, you're problem solving all the time. You're dealing with anything and everything that could go wrong on a film set, which has happened to us like in one project. We're like, how can all these things go wrong? But I like it. It's really fun, but I kind of like to do both. I like to do both sides because I think if I'm behind the camera and I'm not acting, I do kind of get that like envy. I want to be acting. I want to be doing what I love the most, but I do like to have control over what I'm doing too.
Yeah. So you have your hand in both sides.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
So this season, you were a guest star on Star Trek Discovery, which of course was a delight to me. When I saw that on Instagram, I was like, I texted you right away.
You
like,
did?
Yeah. Why are you in my favorite show? What was going on?
Right? And I knew for so long that I was in it, but you can't say anything,
No,
right?
you do not disclose.
You sign an
Yeah.
NDA
Yeah.
and you sign your life away.
Yeah. Did you know? I don't know if you know how Star Trek works because now you are part of Star Trek canon.
I found myself.
Yes, you are. You have your own page on Alpha, on Memory Alpha.
Yes.
And basically your repository of all Star Trek things, right? Because I was looking through as well. I was like, oh, Sarah has her own page. Isn't that exciting? That's so cool.
It's so cool. Like, the show shoots in Toronto, so I had auditioned for it quite a few times. But when you get Star Trek auditions, you're like, oh man, you never know because it's such a high-profile show, and they bring up a lot of American actors. So you're auditioning, but you're like, nah, I don't know, probably never get on this show. And I taped the audition right before we moved back from Los Angeles during the pandemic, and we were packing that day, and I was like, oh man, I forgot. I have to do my audition like right now before we like tear our house apart and leave. And it was one of those auditions where I was just like, oh, I probably won't book it because I never booked Star Trek. I've auditioned for it like 20 times, and that's the one I booked, of course.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So, my gosh, that must have been difficult during COVID.
Yeah, it was. There was so many protocols. They were super safe, but yeah, it was definitely a challenge to all the projects that I've been shooting lately. Yeah, there's just that extra layer of COVID.
Yeah, the thing that has we shall not name.
Yeah.
we know what happens on the screen, but what I would like to know what was it like working on the set. So I was at Comic-Con on the weekend and I met Wilson Cruz, and he echoed what you have said to me before, was that Sonequa, Martin Green, like sets the tone and is amazing. I'd like to hear it from your perspective.
Yeah. So on set as a guest actor, sometimes you walk on set and the main actors, are busy doing their own thing and you don't really get to talk to them. It depends on the set. When I walked into the green room for Star Trek, Sonequa was there and she came up to every single guest star, introduced herself, told us how excited she is to have us on the show. And every time we would sit in the green room, like, you know, she has she has one baby and her other kid's a little bit older, but, you know, she was like dealing with her life, with having a newborn, you know, all the stuff that she had to do. But then she would come and sit with us and be like, hey, do you guys want to play charades? Like, who does that?
I don't know.
Right?
Apparently she does.
She does. And we played charades for like an hour. And I'm like, you need a nap. But no, she wanted to, like, like, where did you start your career, Sarah? I want to hear all about it. Like, it was just so awesome. And again, you get on set and you start acting with these amazing actors and you just take more risks and you have more fun. And it shows in the show.
It's
Yeah.
the relational quality that she creates, I think, on set, eh?
Oh yeah, she really, and you know, the show is about inclusivity and being part of the family, and she really sets that. You know, even though we were just there for a couple days. Yeah.
So when clearly you're not actually on a planet in the middle of whatever solar.
It was a long trip there.
Yeah, okay.
It was really far away.
I'll take your word for it. What was it like the whole green screen process, and what was that like?
Yeah. So, what is super cool about Star Trek Discovery and Strange New Worlds as well is that they use a volume that actually has all the screens behind it are what you're seeing on the, like, in the show is there on the day. So it's not green screen, which is this new technology that they started using, I believe, in Mandalorian, Star Wars. And so we got to actually be in our jail, in our space, and as the camera moves, the walls move to kind of reflect where the camera is. It's just such really
Amazing.
neat technology. There's are many YouTube videos out there that you guys should check out. But yeah, so actually being able to like touch things and see our world was very cool. But of course, you know, a lot of stuff was added in post, like the giant beetles were not there on the day.
Thank goodness, because those were terrifying.
Right?
Yeah.
And then they try to explain them to you. They're like, okay, so it's going to be like this giant metal beetle that shoots fire and also has like these circular axes that are going to come out of it and like attack you. And you're like, okay. Okay, I see it, cool. And then, but when we watch the show, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so much better than what I imagined. But yeah, so it was fun. We got to mix, you know, a lot of imagination with just practical set.
Amazing.
It was very cool. Yeah,
Amazing.
it was
like,
really cool.
When I watched it, I was like, how much can she see and how much is she like imagining?
Yeah, no, pretty much everything was there except for, you know, when we get like beamed up and stuff. When I found out I was getting beamed up, I was like, I can die now.
I know, you've experienced it.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So
But the
good.
beam did change this season. It's a different beam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
different sound.
Yeah.
And behind the scenes, was there any other behind the scenes stories that you would be able to share with us?
Well, I think one thing that was really cool about shooting it is that, so everything on the stage is like asymmetrical because the background, the stage is like a 270 degrees. So we would shoot everything in one direction on one day, and then the next day we would come back and shoot it all in reverse.
Okay.
But they would just change the background.
Yeah, that's
So
cool.
it was like your mind was like, wait, was I standing here? It was just like the set was so cool how they did that. But then usually as an actor, you're used to doing your coverage for a specific scene all in the same day. And it was really interesting to be like, okay, now we're doing this coverage, and like when I'm back in like a week, we're gonna go do the other coverage. So it was just like a very different experience, you know, because the show relies on so much technology. Yeah, and I also got to act with Michael Grey Eyes, which was awesome. Like, he's been on fire. He is a rad dude.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, he really is.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So I can tell you, because we're standing on this stage, that you have inspired a generation of students to pursue their dreams in acting. Listen, when we have performing arts and they start out, I always tell them about certain students that went on to do things as a result of the shows that happened on this stage.
Wow. That's
So-
gonna make me cry.
No, I'll go right ahead because you have earned it. But it's very special, to us that you've gone on and enjoyed so much success.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for opening my eyes to this crazy world.
It is a crazy world.
It is.
It is.
But I love it.
I'm glad. But my question is, who inspires you?
Who inspires me? I think my mom does. Because my mom, I remember growing up, my mom regretted not going into a certain profession. And she still, if I ask her to this day, what's your one regret in life? And that's her regret. And when I told my mom that I wanted to be an actor, they know nothing about business. I knew nothing about business. She was so supportive because she could tell that I just had this like performance bug inside of me that had to come out. And she told me, she's like, do it. You'll regret it if you don't. She wanted me to get a degree, which I did, which I've never shown to anyone in my life.
I'm with you.
Right. But I'm happy I did it because, I just grew as a human, going to college. But yeah, my mom was like, do it. Do it. It might turn into something else, but like, do it. And I don't know if I would have done it if she didn't approve. Because I was kind of like a goody two-shoes.
Well, it's because you follow your passions, right?
Yeah.
You light that on fire, and then you go.
Yeah.
Right. And when you love what you do as work, you don't work a day in your life.
Ugh, right? I never look at the clock.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. And I have worked many jobs to support my acting addiction, and I look at the clock all the time when I do those jobs.
I'm hearing you. We've all been there.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I can't believe we're at the end of this interview.
Are we?
Almost, but I have one more question.
Yes.
Because I want to know what's next. What are you doing next?
Yes.
What do you got lined up? Where are you going?
Sure.
I'm going to follow you on Instagram. I'm going to find out, but I'd like you to tell me now.
Sure, yeah. So I just finished shooting a TV show called Three Pines that I shot here in Quebec, which was fantastic, last fall, which will be coming out in December on Amazon Prime. Check it out. And I'm also currently working on a couple shows. I don't think I'm under NDA for them, but anyways, I'm working on Transplant right now in Montreal.
Really?
I am.
I love this show.
It's a great show. It's fantastic. I just finished shooting Murdoch Mysteries.
No.
So I'm officially a Canadian actor now.
You've made it.
I've
You've
made it.
If you're in Canada and you're on Murdoch Mysteries, you have made it.
16 seasons.
I know.
I've been auditioning
So
for this
good.
show for 16 years,
Wow.
and I finally got it. I was really
Amazing.
excited. And then, what else? Pretty Hard Cases. I don't know if you've ever watched
Yes.
that. Yeah, so I'll be on an episode of that coming out too. Yeah, and just
Wow. Busy.
yeah, just keeping on auditioning and chasing the carrot. It never ends.
Never ends.
It never ends.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm so glad you came in to see us.
Oh my gosh.
Again, it has been my great pleasure to have you here. Before I sign off, I would like to thank, we have a tech crew here. They're hiding behind the camera. Josh LaRock, Sasha Guchin, Will Erskine, and Alicia Legros came in to help me. And thank you again, Mr. Booth, for coming in as well.
Yeah, Mr. Booth.
Thank you very much, Sarah.
Oh my gosh, thank you.
So great to have you come in.
It was a pleasure.
And I'm proud of you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And I'm more than happy. I would love to come and visit your classes in the fall.
Fantastic.
Right.
I got this on camera, right?
Right? I'll come.
Okay. And that's it. Thank you very much.